they were lost. The trees whispered. Their voices were like sighs on the wind. Each rustle of leaves sounded like a footstep behind them. The forest was alive, watching. Gretel shivered, burying her face in Hansel's ragged shirt. "We'll be all right," he murmured, though his voice trembled. He didn't believe it. The woods felt like a predator, toying with its prey. The air grew colder, heavy with the scent of damp earth and decay. Shadows stretched and twisted, taking on monstrous shapes. They were being watched, hunted. The forest held them captive, a maze with no escape. Then through the trees a light flickered, a beacon of hope in the suffocating darkness. As they stumbled towards it, the scent of sugar, warm and inviting, wafted through the air. It was a house, a gingerbread house. Its walls were crafted from glistening candy, its roof adorned with sugared plums and candied cherries. The windows were shimmering sheets of spun sugar. Hunger gnawed at their empty stomachs, their fear momentarily forgotten in the face of such sweet temptation. This had to be a dream, a gift from the heavens. But even in their hunger-addled state, a sliver of unease remained. This place was too perfect, too inviting. A woman stood on the porch, her figure framed by the intricate designs of the gingerbread house. Plump and rosy-cheeked, with a smile as sweet as the aroma that clung to the air, she seemed the epitome of warmth and kindness. "Lost children," she crooned, her voice like honeyed milk, soothing and inviting, wrapping around them like a comforting blanket. Come in, you look famished." She was Mother Ethel, the seemingly benevolent matron of this enchanting yet eerie abode. Her eyes, though, held a glint that belied her sweet demeanour, a spark of something unsettling that hinted at hidden depths, a flicker of something cold and sharp, like a blade hidden beneath layers of velvet. Hansel felt it, a prickle of unease against his skin, a whisper of warning that he couldn't quite ignore. But Gretel, dazzled by the woman's kindness and the promise of food, rushed towards her, her hunger and hope blinding her to any danger. Hansel had no choice but to follow, his steps heavy with reluctance and fear. He prayed this wasn't a mistake, his heart pounding in his chest like a drum. He prayed they weren't walking into a trap, each step feeling like a step closer to doom. The warmth of the house enveloped them, a stark contrast to the chill that had settled in Hansel's bones. The scent of baking bread and sugar filled the air, making their heads spin. Mother Ethel's smile widened, a smile that promised comfort but hinted at something far more sinister. Section 5. The Bitter Truth. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Mother Ethel fed them, clothed them, and filled their days with sweets and laughter. The children, Hansel and Gretel, felt a sense of security they had never known before. But beneath the surface of their newfound comfort, fear festered. Hansel, ever the observant one, began to notice small, unsettling details. Hansel watched as Gretel grew plumper, her laughter losing its spontaneity. The joy in her eyes seemed to dim with each passing day. He noticed the way Mother Ethel's eyes followed them, her smile strained and her gaze lingering a bit too long. It was as if she was waiting for something. He saw the iron bars on their bedroom window, disguised with candy flowers. The realization struck him hard. This was not a home, but a cage. One day he discovered a hidden door. It was concealed behind a tapestry, almost as if it was meant to be forgotten. Behind it, a room filled with strange herbs, jars filled with murky liquids, and a book bound in human skin. The sight was both fascinating and terrifying. The air reeked of something foul and ancient. It was a smell that seemed to cling to his very soul, making him shiver. The truth hit him like a physical blow. This wasn't a haven, it was a prison, and they were the prisoners, fattened for a sinister purpose. And Mother Ethel was no kindly caretaker, she was a predator, hiding behind a mask of kindness, waiting for the right moment to strike. Section 6. Trapped in a cage of candy. Panic seized him, gripping his heart with icy fingers. He had to get Gretel out, but how? The walls seemed to whisper threats, and every creak of the floorboards felt like a warning. The house, once a haven, now felt like a cage that grew smaller with each passing second, a cage made of candy and deceit, designed to lure and trap. The sweetness was a facade, hiding the true horror within. He confided in Gretel, whispering his fears as she slept. His voice trembled, barely audible, as if the walls themselves were listening. Her eyes, once bright with childish wonder, were now clouded with a terror that mirrored his own. They had lost their innocence in this house of horrors. They were prisoners in a nightmare, a twisted fairy tale gone wrong. The gingerbread walls seemed to press in on them, as if the house itself was alive and intent on their capture. The sweet scent cloying, suffocating. It filled their lungs, making it hard to breathe, turning the air into a sickly, sweet poison. The candy that had once tasted so sweet now left a bitter tang on their tongues. It was a cruel reminder of their entrapment. They were trapped in a sugar-coated nightmare, and escape seemed impossible. Every corner of the house was a reminder of their dire situation, a labyrinth of candy and fear. Section 7. Whispers in the walls. The house itself seemed to conspire against them. Whispers slithered through the walls at night, chilling them to the bone. The shadows danced with unseen figures. The candy, once so tempting, now dripped with an oily residue. The gingerbread walls oozed a viscous sap that smelled of decay and fear. Mother Ethel's true face began to show. Her smile became a grotesque leer, her eyes glittering with a hunger that chilled them to their core. Her voice, once soothing, now rasped with a terrifying intensity. They were no longer guests in her home. They were livestock being fattened for a feast. Section 8. A desperate escape. One night, fueled by desperation and terror, they made their move. A rusty knife stolen from the kitchen felt heavy in Hansel's hand. They crept past Mother Ethel's room, her snores a terrifying lullaby. The front door was bolted shut. Panic clawed at their throats. They raced from room to room, the house seeming to shift and change around them, a labyrinth designed to confuse and trap. Finally, they found a window. The iron bars, weakened by years of neglect, gave way under Hansel's desperate strength. They squeezed through the opening, the scent of freedom momentarily overwhelming the fear. Section 10. The Haunting Reminder. They never spoke of the gingerbread house again, but the memory lingered, a shadow in their eyes, the sweetness of candy forever tainted by the bitterness of their ordeal. Even years later, when they thought themselves safe, they would sometimes catch a whiff of gingerbread on the wind. And for a fleeting moment, they would be transported back to the sugar-coated nightmare, the fear as real as the day they escaped. The forest held its secrets close, And somewhere deep within its shadowy embrace, the gingerbread house waited, awaiting its next victims.